UFC 307 takes place this weekend, and in the main event, we have Alex Pereira taking on Magomed Anka. He's not. Who's he fighting? Khalil Rountree! Oh, okay. Anyways, we have Alex Pereira taking on Khalil Rountree for the light heavyweight title. But in all seriousness, I am going to go through every fight on the card from the prelims to the main event, and I'm going to give you my predictions and break down each fight as to why I think it'll play out the way it does. Let's hop right into it with the first fight. In the first fight of the night, we have Court McGee taking on Tim Means. Both of these guys deserve to be in retirement homes. I don't know what they're doing in the UFC still. Both of them are very washed. Neither are very good, but they're still here. I got Tim Means winning a pretty boring decision against Court McGee. Court McGee's too old. He'd be giving up in fights. I think Tim Means is going to just hold him against the cage and get a really, really lackluster decision win. Carla Esparza is taking on Tisha Pennington. Of course, the wife of Raquel Pennington. This fight is interesting. Now, I think it's gonna be a very boring fight. I said it's interesting. It's not. It's a women's strawweight fight. Carla Esparza has some very good, notable wins and fights on her resume. She used to be a champion somehow. Women's fighting, I think she's gonna get it done. I don't think Tisha Pennington's very good, and we'll see if that impacts the co-main event with Tisha's wife. After she watches her wife get beat up by Carla Esparza, it's probably going to be like a split decision because it's women's strawweight. And yeah, I got Carla Esparza winning a decision. I think she's just a little bit better. She has better wins. She has better experience. I think she's got it. Ryan Zero Brain Cells Span taking on Ovince St. Preux. What a fall from grace. Ryan Span was fighting guys like Nikita Krylov, and just a couple fights later, he's fighting 41-year-old Ovince St. Preux. I got Ryan Span winning this by knockout, probably in the first or second round. I'm going to go with the first round. Ovince St. Preux, he's old, he breaks, he crumbles, he hides when he starts getting hit. He doesn't like getting hit anymore. He's been knocked out a lot. Ryan Span is really a stupid fighter. He doesn't know what he's doing in there with game plans and technique, but he's a light heavyweight, he's a big guy, he's powerful. Ryan Span's going to knock out Ovince St. Preux in the first round. Cesar Almeida taking on Ihor Pretoria. This one's interesting. This is actually a pretty interesting fight to pick on this card. Cesar Almeida, I believe he's training with Alex Pereira now. He's doing okay. He's only 5-1. Pretoria is 20-6, has a lot more experience. He's been losing a lot lately, but they are to some pretty good names. Michel Pereira included in his last fight. He lost that one. He's lost to guys like Carlos Ulberg. It's not like he's losing the bums. 20-6 record is pretty good, and that's crazy because he's on a losing streak. I think he has more experience. I think he's younger. I think he's going to be a little bit better. I know that Cesar Almeida is probably the favorite to win this, and for good reason, but I think Ihor Pretoria is going to pull this one out, probably with a finish, because they are in middleweight. I don't know, I could go to decision, but if I'm going with my gut, I'm going to pick like a third round TKO for Ihor Pretoria. Austin Hubbard is taking on Alexander Hernandez. Now, I don't know a ton about Austin Hubbard. I've seen a couple of his fights, looked up a little bit of his previous fights for this recap, but I don't like the chances for Alexander Hernandez. I think he starts off really fast. I think he's going to empty the gas tank in the first round going into the second. He'll probably win the first round, but we are, of course, in Utah. The altitude is going to play a big effect on this card all throughout. We see a lot of flukes on cards like this, but I think Austin Hubbard is just going to be able to outlast Alexander Hernandez and probably get a decision, maybe like a submission or something he'll sneak in, but I'm going to go with a decision. 29-28 on the judges' scorecards. I think Austin Hubbard's going to pull this one out. I also really don't like Alexander Hernandez. He angers me. You don't disrespect Cowboy like that and get my picks. Marina Rodriguez versus Yasmin Lucindo. This is another tough fight to pick. As always, I say it's because it's a woman's fight. That remains the case. Lucindo is actually really young. She's only 22 and Marina Rodriguez is 37. I think Marina Rodriguez has had some really good fights in the past. She used to be a top contender. I believe she still is a top contender. I don't know the women's rankings off the top of my head. They're just a mess. But based on experience and just talent, I do think Marina Rodriguez is going to get this done. Now, there's a chance it goes to a close decision and they just rob her because Lucindo's so much younger. They might try to push Rodriguez out. But with the women's division, I don't see that being the case as strongly. I'm going to give it to Marina Rodriguez probably by a decision. That's my pick. I don't know. I'm not very confident in women's fights usually, but take that how you will. Absolute banger on the prelim. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Joaquin Buckley. Now, I love Stephen Thompson. He's a great striker. He doesn't like to face guys with wrestling. Joaquin Buckley's been an absolute tear lately. He's powerful. He's got really good hands. He also can grapple, and he's not stupid. He's not going to pull a Kevin Holland where he just wants to strike with Stephen Thompson. If he's getting tagged, he's going to take it to the ground, and he has some great ground game. I think Joaquin Buckley, it's his time right now. I think he's on an absolute tear. He's going to continue that run by probably retiring Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's going to be sad to see him lose, but I think Buckley's going to get this one done either by a submission or a pretty dominant, maybe boring in some eyes decision. I think he's going to use the grappling to get this one done over Stephen Thompson. Love Wonderboy, but I'm going to go with Buckley. Opening the main card, I think this fight should be on the prelims and Buckley Wonderboy should be on the main card, but it's fine. Roman Dolidze taking on Kevin Holland. Now, Kevin Holland is a fan favorite. I used to really like Kevin Holland. He's been making me mad. Roman Dolidze, I think, is not a very good UFC fighter, to be honest. His striking is atrocious. His grappling's pretty good, but it's just so boring and he's not good. He beat Anthony Smith and people were like, wow, he's incredible. Not true at all. That being said, it pains me to say this. I think Kevin Holland is way too content with allowing himself to get out-wrestled. He gets out-wrestled in every fight against guys like this, and I think Roman Dolidze is just going to out-wrestle him and make it a very boring decision. Probably 29-28, maybe 30-27. Roman Dolidze is going to get it done over Kevin Holland, and it's going to be really sad. Ketlen Viera taking on Kayla Harrison. Man, there's a lot of women's fights on this card. It's kind of painful. But Ketlen Viera, she's pretty good. She's only 33 too, which I didn't even know. She has a good record, 14-3. She's fought some decent opponents. She's highly ranked. She is fighting Kayla Harrison, of course, who's just coming off of her UFC debut, submitting Holly Holm. I think she's going to absolutely ragdoll Ketlen Viera because she is a freak of nature. In a good way, of course. Kayla Harrison's going to choke her out in like the first round. Anyways, Jose Aldo taking on Mario Bautista. This is actually an intense fight. This is scary. Jose Aldo's an absolute legend. He came back and he fought Jonathan Martinez, and they were like, here's your reward. Mario Bautista, what is going on here, UFC? Why is he not facing someone like Henry Cejudo or like Corey Sandhagen? Something. Just something better. Maybe not Corey Sandhagen. I know he just fought not that long ago. Anyways, you get what I'm saying. Jose Aldo's back. He's 38 years old, and he's fighting at altitude, and his gas tank has always been a big problem, and that's my biggest concern for this fight. I think Mario Bautista's a pretty solid fighter. Obviously, I'm not worried about takedowns with Aldo. Aldo has like the best takedown defense ever. His striking is super good. He has one of the best boxing techniques in the UFC. His kicks are deadly still. I'm gonna pick Jose Aldo. I think he's gonna beat Mario Bautista. Probably a decision for Jose Aldo. It's gonna get close in the third round, though. I'm a little bit nervous for him to really just crumble with his old age, his bad gas tank, and that altitude. But I will go with Jose Aldo by decision. And thankfully for the co-main event, we have a bathroom break before Alex Pereira because we're gonna want to be back for that first round knockout that's going to take place. The bathroom break being Raquel Pennington versus Julianna Pena, of course. Our 16-9 women's champion versus our 12-5 contender who's coming off of a loss and a 2-year layoff. I'm so thrilled for this. This fight's honestly such a tough choice. Raquel Pennington, they're both not very good. They're women's fighters and they're the champions. I think there's so many better women's fighters than these two, and this is the championship fight. This is crazy. Anyways, Raquel Pennington has been way more active. She looked pretty decent against Bueno Silva, even though that fight was dreadful. She's just been more active, and that's what's really tearing me apart. Julianna Pena fluked it against Nunes, and that's how she won the championship her first time. Just tough. And this one's tearing me apart, and I'm seeing a lot of people pick Pennington, but my gut has been going with Julianna Pena, so that's what I'm going to stick with. I think Julianna Pena is going to win the title. I think she's going to submit Pennington, hopefully in like the first minute, because I don't want to watch this, but it's probably going to be like a 4th round submission in a very bad technique striking affair with some grappling involved. It's going to be a bad fight, guys. It's going to be really bad. But Julianna Pena, I got her winning by a 3rd or 4th round submission and becoming the champion. And we're going to have to deal with her talking. On mute, it's not so bad. You know what I mean? And in the main event, we have Alex Pereira taking on Khalil Rountree. Now, all jokes aside, Khalil Rountree does not deserve this title shot. He got caught for steroids, or he admitted to doing steroids on accident. Much respect, I don't think he did them on purpose. I think Khalil's a super cool guy. You don't get a title shot off of that, especially because your last win was Anthony Smith. Yes, Anthony Smith, the guy Roman Dolidze just beat, actually. So, if he can do it... Anyways, Khalil has a really fun striking style. He's got super unique technique. His record's not amazing. Alex Pereira is obviously like the face of UFC. He is an absolute killer. He knocks everyone out. He's a beast. He's a star. And if he lost this fight, it would be really bad for the sport. A lot of hardcore fans, I see actually a good amount picking Khalil to try to be different. I get it. I think he's pretty good, and I think his chances are a little bit higher than people are giving, but it's Alex Pereira, guys. I think Pereira is going to absolutely knock Khalil Rountree's head off into the third row, probably in the first round. Now, this is one of those fights that I could see being a back and forth war and somehow go to decision, and Alex will win, but the fans will be like, wow, Khalil really went for it. And it's like a close fight, 3-2. Like one of the Jones-Gustafsson type of situations the first time they fought. We didn't really know who Gustafsson was, didn't think he had a shot, and he nearly beat Jones. And I do think there's a world where something like that could happen in this fight. I do even think there's a world where Khalil can break Alex somehow, but I don't think it's this world. I think Alex is going to knock out Khalil in the first or second round. My gut's kind of going with second, but I think it'll probably be the first. I like Khalil. I don't think he's made for this moment right now. Maybe one day. I think he needs to take a step down in competition, work his way up the rankings. I know he was supposed to face like Jamal Hill at one point. I think that would have been a better option. It's tough right now. It's tough out here. I think if you make a fight close to Justin Jacoby to Dustin Jacoby, which he honestly lost that fight if you watch it back and just got given the decision, you're not going to beat Alex Pereira if you're going to war, life and death with Dustin Jacoby. And same thing with Anthony Smith. It was a close fight until it wasn't. And yes, Khalil kind of broke him, but it's Anthony Smith. His name's on paper because he tears easy, okay? So, I'm going Alex Pereira by devastating knockout. And yeah, that's it for me. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to have a video coming up soon of EA Sports UFC 5 predicting this card alongside with me. And I did a full watch through of the gameplay, and it was honestly a pretty good time. Hopefully I have that out by Friday. It's going to take a lot of editing, but we'll get it done. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. Peace.